Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. We are doing something a little bit different in today's video. I'm going to be creating two looks for you guys. One using the Naked Reloaded palette and one using the classic Naked palette. We're gonna compare, we're gonna see which one is the better palette. So, let's see, let's get into this video, let's talk. Let's chat, and let's do it. Mwah. Alright guys, so we are comparing the Naked Reloaded and the original Naked palette from Urban Decay. I'm going to show swatches for you. Just an explanation on this green background right here. It's St. Patrick's Day, and I'll be filming a St. Patrick's Day video after this, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and open these up so you can see. So here is our original Naked palette, and we have the Naked Reloaded. They are similar in some ways and not similar in a lot of ways. As you will see in the tutorial, it looks like the Naked Reloaded is a lot warmer than the original Naked palette, which is a lot more cool tone. But yeah, let me swatch the Naked Reloaded and the Naked Original next to each other so you guys can see it. So here are the swatches of the Naked Reloaded palette. So here are the two palettes next to each other. That was a little difficult trying to swatch on the other arm, but just so you guys can kind of see them exactly right next to each other. Clearly the new Naked palette is a little more warm than the old Naked palette, and it looks like they also changed the formula a bit as well, but I didn't really notice any huge changes or differences in kind of like how good the formula is when I was blending. They're kind of on the same level to me, but there you have it for the swatches. Let's move on to the rest of the video so you guys can see what the looks look like. Alright guys, we're going to start off with the Naked Reloaded palette. I'm just priming my eyes with the primer potion from Urban Decay, and then I topped it off with some concealer from Tarte just so that we have a clean base on our eyes. I'm then going to jump into the palette, and obviously you can see I already did my eyebrows too. I'm jumping into the Naked Reloaded palette, and I'm going to start with the shade all the way to the right side. So both shades on the ends are the largest shades, and then the two shades in from them are a little bit bigger. They look a little bit bigger than all the rest, and then the ones in the middle are all the same size. So I'm just kind of like going from lightest to darkest and using a bunch of colors to kind of transition this like half cut crease smoky eye that I'm going for here. I'm using some Tarte Shape Tape to cut that half cut crease right in the center, from the inner corner to the center, and then I just use my finger to dab it out so that it blends with the shadow, but we're going to add some shadows in just a second to help it blend even better. So I'm going to be using this lighter shade right here. This is going to go on the center of the lid. I left a little bit of room on that concealer so that we can use this darker shade right here, this darker coral shade on the outer corner, and blend it in with the dark brown on the very, very outer corner. And then using the lightest shade in the palette, the shimmery lightest shade, and I'm just going to place that on the inner corner and blend that in with the other shades. And I used my finger. This shade was a little bit chunky, so I just used my finger to kind of help blend that out. And then I mixed the shimmery shade and the matte white shade at the cream shade at the very front of the palette to bring it all together. And then I added this light coral matte shade from the palette to kind of bring the colors together. Definitely a little bit of a difference in this palette with the coloring compared to the original Naked palette, especially with that warmer coral kind of color. So now I just took a ColourPop gel eyeliner and I just tight lined my eyes, and then I'm using a angled brush with the darkest brown color from the palette just to kind of smoke out the liner a little bit. I decided to not go with a wing. I'm just not a wing person anymore. I don't know. And then I applied some mascara, the new Wander Beauty mascara, and then I applied these lashes. We're gonna move on to the face. I used this primer primer from Lorac. I always want to say Lorac. And then I'm using the Cover FX Blurring Primer to fill in any pores and smooth out my face. For foundation, I'm using the Innisfree foundation, and I'm just going to blend that all over my entire face with the little sponge that comes with it. It's the Aquafit foundation, and I believe my color was N23. And then taking my Shape Tape from Tarte and just highlighting and covering my circles underneath my eyes, blending that all out. And then I'm going to set everything with the Fenty Beauty powder. I'm going to set in my like T-zone and underneath my eyes with the actual beauty blender, and then I just use a brush to blend it out all over my face. You guys know the gist. I do the same thing all the time. I'm then gonna take the Sweetie Pie bronzer from Too Faced. Isn't it cute? Looks like a little pie. I'm gonna use this to bronze up my face. Bronze it up. And then I'm using this MAC, it's like, they call it a highlighter, but it's kind of like a blush. I think it's called Floor Power. And then I'm applying this Note Cosmetics Terracotta powder on all the highlight areas of my face. And then I'm bringing all the shadows down underneath my eyes to kind of bring the look together, and I add mascara too. And then I'm just adding this Thrive Cosmetics brow mascara to my brows to make them pop out a little more. And then for the lips, I am using Boldly Bare from MAC, this YSL lipstick in, I think, number 70, and then a Grande Cosmetics lip plumper and some MAC Fix Plus to finish off the look. And here is the final look using the new Naked Reloaded palette. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I actually really do like the way that this came out. I was a little iffy at first, especially with like the corals and stuff, but I love the way that it came out, and I hope you guys did too. And let's move on to the original Naked palette tutorial. Guys, we're moving on to the second look. This is using the Naked Original palette. Sad that they got rid of it, but let's see which one you think should have been the one to stay. So this is my beat up Naked Original palette. Yeah, it's a little beaten up, probably really old. I've hit and pan on a couple of the shadows. I used to use this all the time. Buying the Naked palettes was like a thing. I loved them. It was like a collection. So I'm just doing kind of a similar eye that we did with the Reloaded palette. I'm going into the lighter browns first to transition, darker browns in the outer corner, and then I'm going to do a half cut crease. I did notice, like, as this shadow sat on my eyes, it started to be a little more cool tone than I expected the Naked palette to be, but maybe that's because I was comparing it to the Reloaded palette, which isn't really cool tone at all. It has a lot of warmer shades, and actually it's very yellow, but I stuck with it. I'm using Sidecar, which is such a beautiful color, my favorite color from this whole palette. And then I'm mixing the browns together to kind of transition the matte brown with Sidecar on the outer corner, and then I'm using this lighter shimmery color in the inner corners of the eyes. And you know what? This is the color that I missed. Just a shimmery, it didn't have to be this exact color, but just a shimmery cream color in the newer palette. One of the shadows in the newer palette was just very chunky and had a lot of fallout, and I liked how smooth these shadows were. I don't know, that's kind of like the difference that I got. But continuing on with the eyes, I'm doing the same thing that I did in the first look. I'm just kind of using the ColourPop eyeliner to tight line the top lash, smoke it out with the brown and black shadow, popping on some mascara and lashes. And then we're moving on to the face. This is the Cover FX Illuminating Primer, and I'm going to top that off with the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, a classic primer duo that I use all the time. So then I'm going to move on to foundation. This is the new foundation from Yensa Beauty, their BC foundation. It's a BB and CC cream foundation all together. This foundation I don't think is the perfect color for me, so please disregard that. I tried to make it look as good as possible for the sake of this tutorial, but you guys will see a review on that foundation in a week or two, so stay tuned for that. But we're just going to blend out my concealer. This is the Tarte Shape Tape. Always use it, guys. I love it. And then I'm using the Marc Jacobs Finish Line Invisible Powder to set everything. And I just kind of tapped a little bit on top.
For bronzer, I'm using the Wet n Wild bronzer, Color Icon bronzer, and I'm bronzing up my whole face as much as possible so that we don't look gray. And then I'm using the PYT Beauty blush on my cheeks. And I kind of stuck with the very cool tone and went with a cool tone blush or highlighter. This is the Reckless Highlighter Blush from NARS. I'm lining my lips with the Drawer Cosmetics Share Lip Pencil. You can use my code JULIA for some money off. And then I'm going to use these new Bare Minerals matte lipsticks to color in my lips. So I used the darker color Cinnamon on the outside of my lips, and then I'm using the color Petal on the center, and then I used some Fix, just a little bit of Fix Plus to set everything together. Alright guys, so here is the final look using the original Naked palette from Urban Decay, definitely giving me original Naked palette vibes, if you know what I'm saying. And here is the Naked Reloaded look so you guys can compare.
Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Let me know in the comments down below which palette you like more. Do you like the brand new Naked Reloaded palette, or do you like the classic old first ever Naked palette? Leave your comments down below. Let me know which one you think is the winner, which is the one that should have stayed in. It just hurts my heart that they got rid of the first one. That's all I have for today. As always, make sure to subscribe to me right here in the center of the screen, and make sure to check out all the rest of my videos right here on the side. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you really soon.